This is Irontrader. It is Tuesday morning. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look here at the old NQ, which is up about $1.07. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, selling stock, market, ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly chart. Now I can see here how we're just trading this sideways box like I've been pointing out. Let me just big that up there for you a little bit, okay? So what we're looking at here now is yesterday's high, 121.255 on the top side, and we're looking at the bottom of the candle here at 115.635. Okay, so we just take that line right across here, and that's basically what we're trading. We have sideways consolidation. Now, if we can get a little bit higher there today, we're looking at today's high. We're looking at 124.15. We'll look at yesterday's high, 121.255. Then we're going to come up to this 123.615 level, okay? So, and then we have to see whether that'd be the retest, and we're going to see what the reaction is once we get there. Do we blast through, or does it just come up top, double top kind of situation and come right back down again? If it cracks through, this inverse head and shoulders pattern, left shoulders, head, right shoulders, will take us up to about 125.5. would be your target, okay? Now, here on the downside, we want to hold this 8-day. That's 118.540. That's going to be very, very key. If we lose that, we'll come right to the bottom here. You're looking at 117.430. And then we'll come here, 117.305 level. We'll come down to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 116.635. And then we have 116.275. Then we have the retest there of Friday's low at 115.675. And then we have your 21-day at 115. 289, and then we look back to the top of this gap fill at 114.380 level. But right now, that's not what we have. We just have that nice box that we're trading. Very, very nice, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm trading the BITX. That's a very, very good trade. It's a 2 times leverage. You can also go to IBIT. That's just a single leverage. But right now, that's what we're trading as the old box. Now, you can see how strong this RSI is. Okay, so we had a little bit of overbought condition, but now we just have this leveling right on off. The green is just sideways here. So basically, we just have consolidation like we had in the past. See, consolidation, consolidation, and then we had a longer consolidation, and now we have a long consolidation. But always you look at this here when you see that topping tail. See that topping tail there? And then we look here on the weekly chart, topping tail. Okay, so when you see those, unless you can close above that, and negate that, you're going to have that sideways action kind of a situation. But eventually, I think we're going to take that out and you hit that 125, 500 level, and 130, probably 135 level, very easy. Now, here so far, we have this higher high and a higher low on a weekly, but it's only Tuesday, so by Friday, what we really want to do is we want to maintain the top of that candle. That's at 112.345. We want to maintain this 112.652. That is your 8-day. Now, even if the price comes down to the 8-day, that's still very, very bullish. As long as that 8-day holds. That's going to be very, very key level here. But you can see here on the 8-day across the 21-day, everything is bottom left, upper right here on the old weekly chart. Now you can see here we have the sideways action on your RSI looking very, very strong. The green is over red, momentum very good. Not really much to tell here. Basically, we're just trading that box. So what you want to do is watch yesterday's high, 121.255, and we want to watch the bottom of that candle at 115.635 level, okay? Now, this 8-day is going to be very, very key. Now, you can see how we are holding it, came down, and we're holding that 8-day, so we have this sideways action. So basically, just trade this range until we're either going to get a break up here, or we're going to break down and head for that 21-day, possibly that 50-day. Okay, take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, here we have gold and silver. Let me just bigger up a little bit here. Now, I can see here how we jumped right on up here. Very, very nice. Now, we had this downtrending. See how we have this downtrending? You have a series of lower highs and lower lows, okay? We've had that pretty much here in the past there, too. It's no big deal. See, like this here, and that's all it is, just a little consolidation. Now, what we're looking for here, we popped up a little bit, but what we're looking here is basically is that 8-day, okay? 33.75 level. That's what you need to get it back above, okay? So if you can, we look at today's high, 33.83 level. Then we'll come on top of this candle, 34.01. You got 34.16, 34.47, and then we have 34.51 level. You crack above that, we have 34.68, and then we have 34.76. Those would be your upside targets. But right now, what you really want to watch is just watch that 8-day. That's going to be very, very key on a closing basis. Okay, now if it closes above that, then I'll jump in that GLD and we'll take it at higher, maybe possibly towards that 34.51 level. Now, we left this gap, so you want to look at the bottom of today's candle, 33.62 level, and we have 33.45. Okay, 33.62, 34.45. Okay, so that's what your 33.45. That's what your gap and your fill is. Okay, but we also want to watch that 21-day at 33.54 and that 50-day at 33.50. Okay, so that's going to be very, very key. But right now we just have a little gap up here. I have to check and see if there was a contract roll kind of a situation. Now, okay, so we have this RSI. We're varying up here by 52. That's not overbought, oversold. Looking very good. And you got sideways action. Green is below your red here, but we're just actually pretty much just sideways kind of a situation. So today what we want to watch is watch that 8-day. Very, very key on a closing basis. We get up above that, then we can start hitting all these targets. But your big target's going to be right now is going to be a recent high at 34.51. And then next level would be right there at 34.76. Now, obviously, if we get above that, then we're going to head for this 35.09 level. You crack above that, 35.50, 3600 on the old gold. Now, silver. Well, let's see what silver's doing here. Now, you can see here how the 21-day here has been holding very strong. I've been pointing that out a zillion times, okay? Then we jumped up and the 8-day was holding. Now we lost the 8-day. But now look here at the 20, back to the 21-day, and look how nice it's holding. Okay, so I always say just respect that because how many times it held it in the past. Okay, so this is the downside. You're watching the 37.98 level, and then we'll be watching down here. You're looking at 36.57, but realistically, what you're looking for is at 36.31. If that 21-day is lost, you'll start heading right towards that 50-day. Just like when we lost the 8-day, you're going to head towards the 21-day, not instantly, but pretty close right down there today. Okay, so what we're looking at on the upside is we want to watch yesterday's high, 38.51, but the 8-day is going to be key at 38.88. We crack above that. We looked at the top of that candle, 39.52. We have 39.66 and then 39.91. That is going to be your breakout. You crack that, you got 40, 42, and 45 level. Now, negative divergence, and we sold off. Okay, negative divergence, and we sold off. Okay, so always watch that RSI. It does a lot more than just measure relative strength. Now, the green crossed over your red, shows momentum to the downside, and that's exactly what we had. So we still got the ping pong action going on. 37.98 on the bottom, okay, and 38.88 on the top. So we're going to be trading that range, okay, until she's either going to break out and go higher, or she's going to break down and we're going to go lower. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil and natural gas. Okay, here we have crude oil, here we have natural gas. Now, again, on crude oil, what we got is the API report will be out today at 4:30, and we'll see how all the numbers shake out. What we have there is a big bear flag situation going here. But you can see here where we got a little bit of life in there, and this 21, look at that 100-day, look how nice that's holding, 64.98, okay? So it was big time resistance here, okay, see? Then we popped up, and then look how many times that we've held it here on the bottom here now. So that becomes big time support. So now what we're watching here on the upside is we're watching today's high, 67.27, and then your next level is going to be at 68.09. That'll be a 200-day. We jump above that, and we're looking for 69.65 retest, which is basically just the top of that candle. Okay, now we get above that. All we do is look to the bottom here, 71.33, and then we have 72.32. That would be your next level of resistance, and follow the candles up, 73.90, 74.27, and 75.74. Okay, very, very easy. Now, downside, we want to watch that 21-day, 66.70. Okay, we want to watch this 8-day. There's your next support, 65.94. And we want to watch that 50-day at 65.86. And then we want to watch this key level at 64.98, that 100-day, because how many times it held it in the past. Okay, we lose that, we're going to come right here, 64.50, and then 64, the bottom of that candle, that's what you got to watch. We lose that, you're going to be right down in the 50s. Okay, so that's what we have to watch, is that 64 on the downside, and then we want to see if it can rally up here, what the reaction is at 68.09, that 200-day. Now you can see here in the past, let's look at the past, okay, very, very strong resistance at that 200-day. But if you can get above, then we have that 69.65 level. Now, sitting here at 50, that's no big deal here, not overbought or oversold. The green is still below your red here, but we just have this sideways action, so we have to wait and just be patient. I just trade this right now. I think this is just a trade. This is not a buy and hold, long or short. Okay, natural gas. Well, let's just see what we got going here. Now we had a little bit of jump up. We had this low. Yesterday hit 298, and I pointed out here that we always will watch this gap fill, which is now filled. We were watching that 305, which it was holding, and then it came down to 208 and 298, and that's the gap fill at 298. Okay, so now that gap is all filled. Very, very nicely. Now, what we want to watch here now is on the upside is you're looking at pretty much 1.5 level. Okay, so your next level is going to be right there at 3.16, and then we're really looking for this 8-day at 3.2. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. Then the next level is obviously your 21-day, 3.33. Then your 50 or 100-day or 200-day at 3.45, and then we have your 50-day at, let's see what we got them at 3.47, and then we have your 3.58. Now, topping tail, downtrend came all the way up here, tweezer top, right there with these two candles, and then came right on down. Okay, so now we just have this sideways action. So on the downside, you want to watch today's low. Okay, so what you're looking at is 3.1, and then we want to look down here at that 3.6, and then we have your retest at 2.98. Okay, so that's pretty much very, very simple. We just have sideways consolidation, so we got to see. Right now I have no position, and I'll be looking for a trade here, maybe possibly to that 8-day. I don't know if that's really enough for me. You know what I'm saying? There really isn't that much because this 8-day keeps on coming down, 21 comes down. So right now there really isn't a whole trade. It's going to need a catalyst for natural gas to rise. However, we're sitting over here at 41. Plenty of room to run. The green is below your red. We can see if it maybe possibly curl up, but got to give this a little bit of patience here. Two-way trade. I do UNG for the long, KLD for the short. Right now, I don't see anything going on here as of right now. Okay, let's take a look here at the old NQ. Okay, here we have the NQ. Now, if you look at the VIX, okay, the old VIX there is sitting at 14.75. So, okay, so that is way low, and stock is going to keep right on melting. Okay, so now here's the futures. We had up to 23,609. I'm thinking we could go to that 24,000 range very, very easily on this melt up situation. You can see here how very, very strong. It's just holding there, does not want to give up the ghost, and it wants to melt right on up. Now, remember, we've got some big time earnings here. Today is the 29th there. And then for the NASDAQ, you got Microsoft and Meta on the 30th. You got Apple and Amazon on the 31st. And NVIDIA is just having a really nice just melt up. It closed at 176.75 yesterday. Now it's at 179.42. So we just got a nice good melt up. And my favorite trade is that TQQQ, which just doesn't want to stop. Now you hit 91 there today. So she's just rallying right on up here, all the way from 35. So very, very good trading on that TQQ. Now, basically on the downside, once we do have a sell-off, just watch that 8-day. That's going to be key. Watch that 21-day, and then we want to watch that 50-day. Okay, then we start losing that. We have the 200-day all the way down here at 21. But right now, we've got the melt up here, and no one says that it's not going to go higher. Right now, you got 23,609. This could go all the way up to 24,000. Very easy. The months that you want to watch is the end of August, September, and October. That's what we want to watch. Okay, so that's going to be very, very key. And that's when I think you probably have a good pullback here. But I think not only the pullback is not just going to be a pullback, but I think it's going to be a good buying opportunity kind of a situation to take it higher into the end of the year. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here midday trading. We'll take a look at some stocks. Right, trade what's in front of you. Now what you want.